Do you normally celebrate Valentine and get showered with iPhones and iPads and some lovely gold and silver?
No, not not so much like you describe it.
Okay, how
I'm
did
not.
you?
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not that kind of person who, you know, want to celebrate these occasions. I don't like to celebrate it actually, but like anniversaries or Valentines. But
Uh-huh.
surprises are always beautiful and cheerful.
I want you to describe how you normally celebrate Valentine, since you started this kind of question. That just made me think a little bit about your concept of Valentine, your beliefs, your principles regarding this sort of occasion, and how people should and shall celebrate, if there is necessity for celebrating Valentine.
Well, I believe it is Valentine should not be one day in the entire year because you can share your love and show your love to the surroundings
Mhm.
throughout the year. I mean, every day you can improve that. So the reason that I don't like to celebrate these occasions, or I'm not the kind who will insist to have to celebrate it, is that I'm kind of picky
Mhm.
person regarding the gifts
Say
and
it
the
again.
presents. I said I'm somewhat picky in my regarding the presents or gifts. Well, and will
Okay.
not be convinced easily. So
Okay.
I
What?
made a deal with Jafar, or that I said that look, not only with Jafar, with my entire family. Like, if you want to give me something or to give me a present, just tell me and give me the money, and I will go to buy whatever I like.
Well, that is
And Jafar said, "Okay, it was a good deal," and he agreed immediately because he hated the idea that he have to go and pick a present and to choose one. All the men did.
okay. Well, so that's quite interesting. Now, I mean, a lot of people actually that I know of have very special occasions in their life, and especially if they are not married, and even if they are married, there's this kind of endearment. And I really like how you depicted that as Valentine is to show your care and
Yeah, I mean, it is
endearment.
not about one day in a year that you have to buy a present, or, I mean, every day we can show our love to our family or our friends. It is not
Mhm.
about that day that we have to ask about them or to know. We can give them present whenever we want. I'm sorry, there will be a
That's
noises in the
okay.
background
That's
because
totally fine.
Rudy
Um,
is
um,
here.
I've got some monsters around me, so don't worry about it. We're both in the same boat.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Now,
very lovely
what kind
monster.
of what kind of what kind of gifts do normally people have? Because I see red bears. Like I don't know
Oh
the
my God,
connection.
I hate
Um,
everything red. Like the red bears, like the red flowers. It,
uh-huh.
it, it is not the
So
love which
what
is
are
red.
common gifts that
You can give
people
me a white one.
what are common gifts that people give on Valentine's Day normally?
Like as we said, like bears, like buckets of flowers, um, golden presents, sometimes diamond, sometimes
Wow.
yeah. I'm that picky one. I search for diamond only.
Wow. That's quite precious and
Yeah, I'm highly
uh,
standardized.
you've put higher standards for that.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
now, I have another question. Like on Valentine's Day, is it common for men to give gifts to women, or women give gifts to men? What's the protocol here?
I think both of them should give present to each other. It is not restricted to men only. Why it is restricted to men only?
Mm-hmm. Is it and is this restricted only to engaged people, or the Valentine should be everybody's sharing gifts and good talk and nice words with other people who deserve that?
Yes, I think celebration is not regarded the engaged people. Like my surprise and Valentine's Day wasn't done by Jafar. It was done by mother and sister-in-laws. And as I told you that I have a little back pain at that day, and I postponed the session. So I fall into deep sleep, and I woke up after 2 hours, and there was a surprise. There was a flowers on the yeah.
Did you fall? Did you fall from stairs or something?
No, I have disc prolapse, which is a chronic condition.
And what is the cause of this kind of chronic prolapse, disc prolapse condition?
It is a combination of heavy lifting and wrong movement. Like you bend to, this is the original scenario, that you bend for something to lift the heavy things and heavy object, and after that you bend while you turn while you are bending. How do you imagine the movement? Bending and turning around, like while you are still bending. This is the major issue.
And what's the risk on spinal cord from this serious condition? Are there any potential risk, or is it just painful and it just goes away by the course of time with medication and correct movement?
I'm talking about my case. I have a lumbar disc prolapse. There are other kinds of like cervical disc prolapse and other causes, but regarding your question is the treatment will depend upon exercises. You asked me about the treatment, right? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Decreasing the weight, like doing exercises to strengthen the muscle, so you will not depend only on your the bones only. You will reduce the pressure on the bones, because you will depend mostly on your muscles. And the effects will depend upon the level of that prolapse, like on the cervical region will different from the lumbar or thoracic. Sometimes it will even affect the urination if it will hit some of the nerves responsible for that. So depending on your level, for my case it is mild, I think, because it's just affect my movement, and it's with a little pain. So after resting, lying down with simple exercises, I can overcome the pain.
Okay, perfect. Glad that you're feeling better. I can feel that in your voice. And I think that this is some sort of incident that happens, as you mentioned, from the recurring wrong movement or carrying heavy
and for women it may exacerbate by pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
Lots, yes.
Okay. But this is not our case for tonight. Yes. I don't think that. I think you lifted something heavy, and then that exacerbated the whole condition. Okay, so for tonight, we're going to dedicate some time to talk about reading. Reading is key, essential element of being an active test taker. We always constantly talk about tests because this is our purpose. I think we're just hitting iron while it's hot. The Ielts test is some sort of challenging test, but in the meantime, the kind of results that are built on our performance of consecutive practice, taking the test and understanding the circumstances of designing the test and administering the test on people. But before we do this, I thought of share this document with you. It's a page. Just have a look at it, please. If you can access it, I send it to Skype chat. Do you see it?
Where is it?
It's
like
in
the label?
Image.
Label.
It's IELTS listening score. Do you see it?
Yeah, yes, the label.
I'm not sure what you mean by the label.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Now,
I see it.
So for listening and reading, there are 40 questions for each. And the score is converted mathematically from 40 points to descriptor 9. So from 40 to 9. So if you respond to 11, let's start it from the bottom of the page.
Okay.
If you respond correctly to 11 to 12 out of 40 questions in listening and reading, you get 4. So the minimum score you get in IELTS is 4.
It's 4.
For this, unless you do not provide any sort of answer, and that's almost impossible, unless there's very extreme condition that happens and that just will render the test as failure. Going up to 6.5, let's start from 6.5. If you answer correctly to 26 to 29, so there's a range, 26 to 29 correct answers out of 40, you get 6.5. But there's this key thing that we need to understand, because it's very comforting. To get 7, you just need to add 1 more correct answer.
Yes.
So there's only 1 point difference between 6.5 and 7 in 40, in the 40. So if you answer 1 point only more than 29, you are going to get 7.
Okay.
Going to 7.5, you just need to answer 32 out of 40. So you have you have 8 mistakes permissible in case you need to get 7.5. And we try our best actually to minimize that to get higher score. But if you want to get 8, you just need to move from 34 to 35. So there's only 1 point to get 8. So this shall be very comforting to you to be able to understand that the test is not, as people think, that 8 was, oh my God, that's 8. That's impossible. No, it's actually 1 point difference. It's not that big. Yeah. So this should be very comforting to you to understand that, I mean, getting 35 questions out of 40 is not impossible. It's not Mission Impossible. It's not Tom Cruise. It's IELTS. And mostly in reading, what we do is we cross-check, compare, and contrast, and also do fill the blanks, the old style. But with correct spelling.
No, spelling.
Yeah, it's not a nightmare, but for some people, yes, it is. Now, so far, what I mentioned is the conditions of taking the test and the kind of circumstances that will have you get 8. So you just need to get 1 point to get 8 out of the 35 points. You just need to add an extra one. So it's not that quite challenging. However, what happens is that the more you go deep to the end of the test, the harder the questions might seem to some people if they haven't developed enough conceptualization and skillful practice to get them to the expected level of performance and proficiency. But that's a matter of fact. That's a fact of a matter, that the test is differentiating the professional English speakers and readers from the normal people who just decide to take it for fun. Now, regarding the tricks and strategies for reading, I have written a few comments that I wanted to highlight here, and I think that that should be enough reminder before we do a little bit of practice here. What I do recommend is sometimes, if you are not feeling comfortable providing the correct answer, what you need to do is simply put the wrong answer and then try to prove to yourself that you are wrong by give you a question that is number one. 99% of times, the answer to that question is in paragraph 1 or paragraph 2. So you don't need to go through the whole paragraph to answer question 1 to question 10. Most of the time, you're going to find some sort of parallel between the answers and the passages. Okay. So if it's question 5, there's 90% chance that the answer is going to be in the beginning of the paragraph. The beginning of the essay.
Yeah,
if it is
like paragraph
if it's a question, if it's a question 20 to 30, there's normally a higher chance that the answer is in the body of the paragraph, which is towards the middle.
Yes.
And the last questions come in the end. So we expect by default that we go to the end of the question, to the essay, to find the answers. But the key to address the issue of reading in Ielts is this. Focus on synonyms. Synonyms are the bread and butter of this test. If you master synonyms, if you excel in synonyms, because they are not going to use the same word between passage and the question they ask you. They always do some changes, unless they ask you to write a specific word and to spell out a specific word. Okay? So, for example, they use the word remember in the question, but in the essay, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
In the essay, they use the word reminisce. So reminisce is the same as remember. It's a synonym. They are kind of close to each other. When they give you these blanks to respond to questions in reading, there's always content before the blank and after the blank. And by looking at the content before and after, we may determine the category, the language category. For example, whether it's a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb. Just determining that category is going to help us narrow down our search for the correct word. So I noticed in one of the tests that they wrote, for example, N, A-N, the definite article, and then a space, and then noun after that. So building on that, I concluded that the word may be an adjective that begins with a vowel sound. Because
yes, of course.
We almost never say and then we start a word with a vowel sound. And then that is an adjective that describes the noun that came as a content after the blank.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's for the paragraphs. And also determining the theme. The mind responds so much faster if we determine and understand the theme of the conversation, or the theme of the writing, or the theme of reading. Once we establish that, by 30 seconds, we would be responding so much faster to the content of the essay. And by determining that, I just simply mean that asking yourself, what do I know about this topic? For example, geography. What do I know about geography? I know dams, I know rivers, countries, borderlines. Just trigger these vocabulary that are flying in your mind and your memory is going to help you. So once you see them used in the content, you're going to feel more comfortable responding with more efficiency to the essay. But if you just start hitting the questions with zero background about the topic, maybe there are going to be some slips here and there where we might, provide wrong answer. Okay, so give me one second. I'm just writing down some comments here. Now, what we are going to do, we're just going to do a little bit of training. You said are you using your laptop?
No, it's my phone.
Oh, okay. So we have an issue here. When do you think we can use a laptop? Maybe sometime during this week, because we just need to practice something regarding.
I should ask Jaffa to be present in this case, because he usually take the laptops with him.
Okay, now we can shift that to our next meeting, but what happens is that we just need to do some sort of speed reading, and speed reading is simply training our eyes to read content more. Speed reading is a skill that professional and efficient readers, avid readers, accumulate. The standard person reads around 150 words to 300 words per minute, and they call that WPM, word per minute. That's the standard normal person. The professional readers, like professors, academicians, whatever that word is, they read faster than that. So they read higher level of, so they go for 350, 400, and maybe more if they are geniuses. And what happens is that with that speed, there is some cost, and the cost is comprehension. So the faster you go, the less comprehension you have, because your mind is not going to process with the same efficiency the faster you go. Imagine when you're driving in the passenger seat, you're next to the driver in your passenger seat, and you twist your eyes to look through the window. And if the car is driven very fast, your mind is not going to process the frames of the images or the pictures you see in front of you, because they go faster than your mind can process, because your mind processes things in frames, your eyes. So the signal that is sent from your eyes to your brain is not going to be with the same efficiency. But if they slow down, no, you're going to pay attention more to details. You're going to see the landscape and see everything. That's pretty much the case with text. The faster you go with the text, the harder and the less comprehension you are going to have, which is on the expense of providing correct answers. And for Ielts, this is very dirty test. We just need to be careful about every spelling and every word that is chosen. One word, one single mistake is going to drop us from 8.5 to 7 maybe.
Yeah.
Now that's for rating. What kind of phone do you have?
Xiaomi.
Okay, I love phones, and since this is very technically oriented session, I will try. I sent you a link. I want you to open this link.
Okay.
Do you see it in the chat?
Yes.
Let's try. Maybe we fail, but at least we try.
Okay. Accelerator?
Accelerator. There's a box that has some content in it. Do you see it?
Begin.
Above that, there is to get started. Just copy and paste. Do you see that?
The highlighted lines.
Read the highlighted lines. What do they say?
To
get it started?
To get started, just copy and
Can you
paste
delete?
text.
Can you delete that?
Okay.
The whole text. Can you delete it?
Yes, I deleted.
Okay, I want you to replace it with this text that I sent you on Skype. When you do that, just let me know.
Okay.
Now, before we get started, now this is going to show 300 words per minute to you. But since this is not 300 words, what we are going to do, I will ask you to just pay attention to every word that will show up, one on a sequential order, and then try to get a sense of what the paragraph is talking about to me. Once the words stop showing, just tell me what you understood from that. Even if you understand 30%, 40%, just let me know, okay? Okay, get started. Hit begin. When you hit begin, it will say during and read. I want you to click on read.
Where is it? Read.
Under during.
You want me to read it, right? The passage?
Just read it, but
okay.
with yourself. Just focus on it to get an idea of what's going on. So you only have 97 words. Can you start?
Yeah, I already started.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I think he's talking about the essential causes of migration. Like it is, in the past it was related to the political issues like world war, and then it is economic now. Economic and social factors.
Can you tell me a little bit about the universities that conducted the study? They use the potential reasons of migration. They mentioned one word, single word for potential reason. What is it?
It is an economic.
Like
yes. Economic factors.
Economic, yes. Okay. Now, perfect. Now, this is the next one. I want you just to copy it and do pretty much the same and summarize it to me quickly. Okay. Just copy this, put it in, replace that text, and hit begin. Read it carefully and then summarize it to me.
Like it's talking about the immigration started in America from Europe, and main reason which is the slavery that led some of them to immigrate from like Caribbean islands, from Africa.
That's it.
And harsh and dangerous.
Now, I want you to rely on your memory.
Yeah, it was costly. Transport costs were high and dangerous.
Okay, perfect. Now, I'm sending you another one, but what I want you to do is focus more on the general idea of the paragraph. I don't want you. We are doing speed reading to get a background information, just to get you ready and warmed up to do the detailed reading for specific details. Now, I'm sending you paragraph C. I want you to just copy it and do pretty much the same, and then respond back to me with a short summary.
Okay. I think it's also talking about the cost of the falling transport cost and low risk all pushed in the same direction. So I think they meant that the policy has changed nowadays. Like they have built another rules and for immigration. Like I don't know. I feel it haphazard.
Okay, now
legals.
Are you reading from the text, or are you just depending on your memory?
Yeah, I'm depending on my memory, but I didn't get the main idea. They are talking about the transport and the costs, but what does it?
Well,
how does it relate?
They mentioned. How is this related to what?
To the context, like what its relation to the immigration. I didn't get it.
You didn't get it because it's not there, or you just didn't get it because it was very fast?
No, it was very fast, yes.
Okay, that's completely fine. That comes by practice. I think it's overwhelming the first time. A lot of people actually struggle in the beginning, but then again, they get used to it because we only have a limited amount of minutes to go through the reading to be ready to provide the answers by checking out the questions. I sent you D, section D of the essay. What we are going through, we're going through a general idea. We understand that it's about immigration. We understand that there's 2 universities that conducted study. We understand that immigration is caused by economic crises. We understand that the wave of immigration started in the early 1800s, and then it moved until the First World War. We also understood that there is some decline in Europe for immigration because of the source of immigration is coming from the developing country, not from the developed country, because the governments there are not treating people well, so they are escaping nepotism and tyranny and this sort of things.
Yeah, but in paragraph C, they would talk about the cost of the transport and how most of the people return back to Europe. I didn't get it. Well,
that is because you're just doing the first reading. The first reading is to get the first impression, and then you go to the second round of reading where you just develop better understanding of that. Since we haven't had any mental context for what we are expected to read, this is just me presenting it to you tonight. Tomorrow, when you have a look at it, you're going to completely have a different perception of it with more detail. And also, the words are going faster than the normal trained reader to perceptively respond effectively to. Go to D. It says migration. Do you see it in the Skype?
Yeah.
Just copy it, put it in.
I did it. Okay.
The purpose of this is not to do detailed reading, but just to train our ears, to train our eyes to move faster over the text.
Okay. So, sorry, I didn't get it. What does he mean by it is is in the interest of voluntary migrants? They would not move otherwise. What does it mean? The evidence
you will have a look at it. You will have a look at it later.
Again, there's a study shows by that they are assuming that.
By the way, when they create and choose these essays, they modify the context to make it a little bit more complicated because they choose formal expressions and complicated or compound structures to slow down the readers, and they call that distractors. Especially when you're giving an MCQ question. There are 3 distractors and 1 correct answer, and usually distractors are very close in meaning. or some of them are not very close in meaning. So
I think
if you're getting
the
go ahead.
paragraph is talking about the negative effect of immigrants, like it's on the effect the supplies and salaries of the original workers or something like that.
If you get this as a major idea, I would definitely welcome that, because you're just building incrementally your background in this part step by step. Moving on, we have this one. I just want you I'm sorry, I just
The same, okay.
it again. The same. Just give me 1 second.
I didn't get anything. It is short, but it's very complex.
You just need to understand that there is a study. In this study, there were major reasons, 2 reasons.
Yeah, the 2 crucial differences between.
So what we have in the back of our mind is that maybe in the questions they ask us about these 2 reasons. So just remember the location. Remember the location here of the questions of the finding of the study, in case you need to refer back to them. We are not after memorizing or understanding all the details regarding that. We are just
I read that there are 2 things, but what are the 2 things that are talking about? I have to read it again.
I think you've done excellent job finding out that they had findings, 2 things. We don't know what they are, but there are 2 findings and the sort of things. Okay. Now moving on to the next paragraph, which is F.
Okay. I think I get it. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a trial and error. It's the first time, so we completely understand that there's some sort of confusion that might happen and some perceptibly difference in terms of the comprehension, but that's okay. We're not here to take a baccalaureate test. We're just here to answer the questions and move on. We just need to answer effectively the questions, building on finding the location of the question and the answer of the question, and understanding that if you train yourself on this, you would have accomplished a great deal. This is the task 4, which is the hardest part of the reading. What we've worked on so far is the hardest last 10 questions of the Ielts reading section, which is the last essay, which is the most complicated one. So far, you just developed a great general idea about the essay, and you would be more than ready to respond to the questions regarding that. And I'll just give you an example here for some of the questions that will come to you in the essay. Until the early 19th century, the majority of migrants to North America were
20 unskilled workers.
So this is from your own mind, right?
Yes.
But you just need to, it's in the beginning. You just need to go to the beginning of the essay to respond to that. And moving on, see here, this interesting question is, pressure to migrate is increasing now because A, economic conditions have become more desperate. B, immigration restrictions are being relaxed. C, people generally earn more. D, there is a greater need for unskilled workers. See? We talked about the word economic. Do you remember?
Yes, in the second paragraph, I think. B.
So you just you just need to go and double check and make sure that this is the right answer. You provide it and move on. That's it. But we have already done that in few minutes from the first impression fast reading activity. We haven't gone into detailed reading. Of course, when you go into detailed reading, your answer is going to be far more solid than your tentative answer that you're providing to me right now. Now, how do you feel about the most challenging reading task for Ielts so far? Do you have any idea so far?
No, I have a better understanding, and I make a good conception about it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I would love to practice it because I find it fun, somewhat fun.
So what I want you to do, I'm sending you the link to the reading essay and the questions. I just want you to do the reading, time yourself, and see how much you are going to spend in reading, and then answer the questions and tell me the results that you will get.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Okay. This is for a task.
That's for this task. And also,
you already sent me others on.
Yes, it's
Google
the same.
Documents, yes.
It's the same.
Sorry, I didn't do it because I didn't have the time today.
That's okay. But what we're going to do, I want you to provide me the answers, and then we can discuss the paraphrasing for each one of the paragraphs in our next meeting.
Okay.
Sounds good?
I just wanted to ask you if there are a copy version of Ielts test, because I'll prefer to write it with my hand.
Hard copy?
Hard copy, yes, exactly.
You mean answer sheet?
Yeah, like in the libraries or whatever places you suggested.
Well, they don't have that. But what I can do, I can send you the PDF. You can print it out and provide the answers on.
That's great. Sounds great.
I will send it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I will send it to you now. And that's about it.
Okay.
Let's have our next meeting on, and I expect to see the answer to the reading between now and tomorrow or the day after, once you have enough time to do that.
Okay, our next meeting will be on. I didn't hear you.
Thursday.
Yes. Okay.
Is that okay?
That's okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks.
Sending you the. By the way, it's 40 questions for listening and 40 questions for reading, but it's the same format. Instead of reading, it says listening. Instead of listening, it says reading. So this is the document. You can download it or send it to Jafar to download it, and then he's going to print like 10, 15 copies of it. Perfect. Talking to you soon, Zainab. Thank you so much for this lovely participation, and see you soon, inshallah.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Minister of Health announced officially that the new generation invaded Iraq, and unfortunately also we are recording 2,000 to 3,000 per day from 2 to 3 days ago. So that was my day from the early morning till the 1 o'clock afternoon. Then I returned back to home, had a lunch with my family. Then after that, 1 or 2 hours 2 hours ago, started to read my emails and reply what I have to reply from them. That's everything.
What kind of emails did you get?
Almost of those emails are emails talking about questions regarding the registration or the approval process in Iraq. What is related to the company itself or its product. Sometimes they are asking about the new requirements of the registration and approval from the MOH, and how can the company, the multinational company, to overcome that new requirements because of many reasons. Because they have the document that MOH requests, or they cannot make the legalization during the pandemic situation, or there is some problems in the attestation at the Iraqi embassy at the country of origin, something like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, you mentioned that they mentioned something related to COVID-19, the new strain of COVID-19.
Yeah.
What kind of discussion did you had with them, and how?
Mutation cannot be happen without any outside stimulator.
Okay.
So what's happened to the coronavirus cell itself to make it mutated to another type or another kind of virus, which is more fatal and more dangerous than the first one in this short period? If you know, it is 1 year, and FDA and WHO approved the remdesivir vial as a treatment for coronavirus. I think at June 2020. So from
Okay.
June 2020 to February 2021, what's going on that make that mutation happen in this short time? Maybe I think, and that's what we have discussed early morning, maybe there is misuse of some of medications. Like if you remember, they said that the dexamethasone ampoule is very good for protecting the lungs of the patients with COVID-19 from making dysfunction, or to prevent the dysfunction of the lungs, or to prevent the patient from getting low oxygen. After that, WHO said, no, please don't use dexamethasone because it affects the bone, affect the kidney, and may collect liquids inside the cells of the body, and getting the patient to be worse in case. After that, they said, please use the malarial anti-malarial medication. I forgot that name, sorry, but it was anti-malarial medication. Use it for the treatment of COVID-19. After that, they said, no, please stop that. After that, they said, use remdesivir injection. After that, they said favipiravir tablet, 200 milligram per tablet. So after every week, every month, there is a new study and a new announcement for using a new medication. Maybe these multi-medications or multi-uses or misuses of all these medications make a negative feedback mechanism from the virus itself to make it stronger than what he started to be. Make it saturated for the medication. You know, if you misuse the antibiotic, the ordinary antibiotic, if you have tonsillitis and started to take ceftriaxone injection, and you can take ampicillin capsule, the simple antibiotic, ampicillin or amoxicillin capsule, but you started for any reason to take ceftriaxone injection, which is given to the patient, to the female patient that doing cesarean section. So why you take a medication used for cesarean section for tonsillitis? If you take this medication for tonsillitis, the bacteria of tonsillitis will be saturated with ceftriaxone in the next time, and no ampicillin, nor amoxicillin, nor ceftriaxone will be worked to fight or kill it. You have to looking for another one over that three medications. So maybe the misuse of these medications lead to the virus of coronavirus to be mutated to this more fatal new generation.
Now tell me about the new generation in terms of its risk compared to the old generation.
Yeah, the old generation affected the lungs, try to fill the the chamber of oxygen inside the lung with the fluids coming from outside the cell, and that lead to make the patient getting a few oxygen, and after that to lung dysfunction. The new generation, sorry, the new generation, they say that it affect the intestinal tract, and affected by causing something like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, something like that. The studies are not enough yet for the new generation, but they are talking about collection of the what I have to say to express that, a collection of signs of symptoms from the old generation and from the next one. So you can imagine that a virus will affect the lung and the respiratory system and the intestinal tract and the GIT at all. So it destroys the body. And you know something important? The died cases, after they died, the physician said that after they analyzed their bodies, they discovered that there is some problems in the blood vessels. So it lead to problems in the blood vessels more than the worst cases of the lung itself. They discovered that the virus caused clots in the blood vessels, and that lead to something like angina pectoris. That will lead the patient to be die. So it is very, very dangerous virus, and really, I do not understand how it works, why no medication can destroy it, and why the brand names of companies that with the big or old background in innovation of new molecules of drugs or medication or vaccines cannot find something to fight this fatal virus. I don't know. Yes.
So it seems that the percentage of risk from this virus is far more than the percentage of risk from the original one.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now,
sure.
Well, that's worrying, actually.
Yes, and please, Waleed, your family, your alternative, your relative, sorry, your relatives, please commit with wearing at least the mask. Wear the mask, because last announcement from Dr. Fauci said that we may live under the dangerous or under the fear of this virus for 2 or 3 coming years, and nothing can protect you but just the wearing the mask and make the social distance. Wear the mask, make social distance. That's what you have to do to protect yourself and your family. After that, the scientists try to find the drug of choice and the vaccine.
Okay, perfect. Okay? Well, yes. I mean, probably that's going to take years to be developed, especially that I've been seeing some reports saying that the virus, the vaccine with the mutation of virus, may not have the same efficiency of treating this virus and killing the virus cells instantly. And that's actually another problem to be
yes. And you know another thing, the kit that used for discovering the patient has COVID-19 or not. The question now, is it the same kit that used for discover if the patient if the patient has the new generation or the old generation? It is the same kit used, but it is not differentiated. The kit
Okay.
will say that the patient has COVID-19, but
But they
cannot say
wouldn't differentiate the kind of mhm,
yes, they didn't differentiate. So this is a bigger problem. Why? Because if the results of the PCR test will say that X patient has COVID-19, okay, and you will refer him to go to the hospital or to the specialized clinic for treating this type of virus, and they will starting to give him the medication that working on the lung and respiratory system. And after that, you discover that he has the new generation and all that medication entered his body useless.
mhm.
What will he do? This is a bigger problem, and another problem that added to the list of problems when you are facing this fatal virus. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, unfortunately, this is not our topic of discussion, but
Of
tonight. But
course.
I'm pretty sure it's informative to people,
Mhm.
including me, to be more careful and more serious, especially
Of
with the
course.
cases that I've had since
Yes, of
we
course.
since we got affected by this virus
Mhm.
before, and we don't know the cases of getting the virus again or not.
Mhm.
And there's high risk for everyone,
Mhm.
to be honest. But
Mhm.
tonight is what we are going to do in the upcoming half an hour or less is to
Yes.
talk about reading. We have been doing some speaking practice over the past months
Mhm.
to improve your speaking skills and become more outspoken, become more eloquent,
Mhm.
and become more well um, versed
Mhm.
when well versed and eloquent when it comes to talk about the speaking skills. And also we've tried to get you to get an IELTS listening test to you know, diagnose the kind of weaknesses that you have and also build on whatever skills that you have amassed over the course of time to take you to the next level of your ability and your skills
Yes.
in listening. Now, since this test has 4 sections,
Mhm.
writing, reading, listening, and speaking, we just need to jump from
Mhm.
one section to another and carefully try to discover where your skills are
Mhm.
and where we can take you to.
Mhm.
Now, for tonight, I thought of discussing a few tricks for reading and
Mhm.
give the the link to the test is there from the post of January 28th
Yes.
that I've put there
Yes.
for your at your disposal.
Mhm.
Sending that to you here again. Now, before I ask you to go ahead and click the button,
Mhm.
we just need to discuss a little bit
Mhm.
the reading
Mhm.
and the kind of reading that you should do in IELTS and the kind of tricks that you need to do.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not sure if you're um, a consistent reader where you read on a daily basis, except I'm not talking about your emails. I'm
Mhm.
talking about reading essays, reading journals, reading books,
Mhm.
reading anything outside the circle of your work.
Mhm.
Do you do
No,
that?
no, not always, not every day, but I'm try to read at least one page, 2 pages per day,
What
at
kind of
least.
reader are you? Can you
Any,
describe yourself as a reader?
anything I can find in Google. Sometimes it is article about political article, something about history, something about sport. Anything I can read, I'm doing that.
How about books? What kind of books have you read before?
No, no, unfortunately, I do not have an English hard books. hard copy books. I'm trying to read through my iPad.
Okay, now whether you read on iPad or you read a hard version, a hard copy version,
Mhm.
give me 1 second. I'm writing that
Yes,
note
please.
here. Okay. Now, what was your favorite book from from childhood?
From childhood, the stories that talking about Sherlock Holmes, Robin Hood. I like that. Alice in the Wonderland. I like to read that. Yes.
Okay.
And
Now,
history. I like history too much.
mhm.
I read about history too much. Yes.
Why are you fascinated about history?
Well, I think if you read the history, you will learn too much about what's going on around you, because I believe that history repeats itself
Hmm.
every at least every 10 to 20 years, and sometimes you can see an events sorry, you can see events repeated, and it's happened after before 50 years. Maybe it
Hmm.
happened in China, but you can see it on the ground in Iraq, something like that. So I feel when I'm reading the history, I complete my personality as an educated man. I can depend on the past events to read what will happen in the future, at least to understand what will happen, and to know that nothing is stable in this life. Everything is changeable, and everything can be changed towards or to the good situation.
Now, do you have any a specific kind of source for history that you think you recommend to people who are interested in reading about this field?
No, I have no references. No, I'm just depend on my ability to search. I'm searching
Mhm.
about the article or the subject that I want to read about, and start to read it carefully and repeat read it more than one time to understand it. If I'm reading in English, but if it is in Arabic, just one time is enough to me to understand what's wrote.
Now, the next question is probably some sort of relevant,
Hmm.
and this is just giving me some idea about you as a person who is reading.
Hmm.
What is your favorite story, author, character, genre, or kind of books you read? Like action, science fiction, children books, war. You mentioned history, biography, history classic,
Yes,
Gothic.
yes.
Uh,
Look, Walid. To be honest, I'm so interested with the writings or the stories of Charles Dickens,
mhm.
and I hope if one day I find the full books or the full package of stories of Charles Dickens, I will get it,
Mhm.
and I like to read it. So all of them. I remember at the fifth stage or fifth class of the secondary school, we had, if you remember, a story in English lesson written by Charles Dickens, which is Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist.
I think
Yeah.
this is one of the fascinating stories, and well, it's a novel by Charles
Hmm.
Dickens.
Hmm.
Charles Dickens used to live in UK in
Hmm.
London
Hmm.
at that time when he started his writing. He
Hmm.
started as a clerk, so he
Hmm.
was writing in few newspapers, and his stories began as short stories on
Hmm.
a weekly basis, where he used to write to these newspapers, and then people started to follow him. You know, at that time there was no Facebook, so they were following his publications on newspaper, and that just took him to another level.
Hmm.
He used to walk in downtown London in at dark, So probably when you read and navigate his stories, the collection of stories like Hard Times, A Tale of Two Cities, Oliver Twist, Christmas Carol, it's amazing one. You will
I
live.
have to read it.
Yes, you'll definitely. And there is
Please
there
tell
is
me
a
the
quite
name
interesting
of the novel. What was?
Christmas Carol.
Okay.
I suggest you watch the movie. It's by the comedian. I forgot his name.
I watched the movie of Oliver Twist more than one time, and it was produced many times. I think there is a version of 1916s, and there is another one in 1919s. I think that all that versions I watch it.
Okay.
But I
No.
like the one at 1916s.
Now the thing about this the thing about Oliver Twist and majority of his novels actually come from his personal life as a man who has a few kids, who had a few kids.
Yeah.
And he, to be honest, as I said, as you mentioned, there's nobody perfect.
Yes.
So he used to beat his kids, by the way, to some extent, and he had some hot temper sort of issue. But he's a writer.
Yes.
And as you know, any writer has some complications. Writers have more sublime sort of thinking and philosophy that normal people don't have. They carry lots of philosophy, and
Yes,
a
of
lot of
course.
people actually do not accept them as philosophers or great writers. So they end up in very miserable situations. And like, for example, Ernest Hemingway, who ended up killing himself.
Yeah.
So
in Oliver Twist, I liked how he presented or displayed the life of the orphan boy, and when he went to a big city like London, and his bad luck made him to be a member of a gang, and how the events developed then to make him tell the police about the place of that gang and destroy them one after one and be a free man. It was an interested story, and there is another one I'm very interested with his writing, which is the George Orwell, who wrote the
Animal Farm.
Yes, Animal Farm and 1984. I'm very admiring and respecting that writer.
No, 1984 was written in 1948.
Yes.
And this has an eternal, actually, and consecutive sort of legacy over the centuries. It just kept its validity for every year, for every decade, for every government.
Yes.
We still see that because people are the same. They never change. That the kind of greed, the kind of dictatorships, the kind of democracy concept, they are all people come and go, but these concepts are still the same. People get to power and they start monitoring other people. They start dictating things on people, and that just
it was a precognition, Walid. It was a precognition novel.
So
You could read the future. Yes.
can we say that you have finished any sort of book this year or last year, like you completed reading a whole book?
No, to be
How
honest, no.
when you have something long that you want to read, how do you start reading it? What's your preparation? What's your style of reading?
Yes, first I choose the right time to read it, and always it is the night, because the
Mm-hmm.
quietness at the night is very good to me to read and to live what I'm reading. Second thing, if it is a long novel or story, I'm trying to divide it not by the number of the page, but divide it at the sections of the events. I try to read a section of a complete event, not
Mm-hmm.
to divide the event itself to two parts or three parts, because in the next time I'm coming to resume the reading, I have to return back to two to or three pages
Mm-hmm.
to remember when I have stopped. No, I divided the book, the whole book, to divide it depending on the events. I try
Mm-hmm.
to complete the first event, then coming to the next event, coming to the third event, till reading whole the book. That's my strategy. Mhm.
Okay, now that's quite interesting. I think you have very good influential techniques and strategies when it comes to approaching books
Thank
and
you.
how you read books. And this can be a good asset for us to build on when you start reading for IELTS. Now,
Mhm.
what's your experience with IELTS reading section? Do you have any thoughts, any concerns, any sort of idea about reading and how you approach reading in IELTS before I give you some tips here?
Well, it was two trial to try the IELTS test, as I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah.
And before that, I have no any trial to to test the essay or the paragraphs that I will face in IELTS exam. After that, I try to prepare myself to manage the time. The bigger problem in the reading test was the managing of the time, not
Hmm.
the paragraph itself, unless the synonyms that they are using to confuse the tester or the student.
Test takers.
Uh, yes, test taker. The
Hmm.
synonyms and the time management. That was the big problems I faced. It is
Hmm.
I cannot consider it as a problem, but I can say it is an obstacle because it is not a problem in the real meaning of the word. It was an obstacle if I can manage the time very good by a good technique and divided the time, the 40 minutes, on the four sections and give the third one or fourth one, which always be the hardest or the longest through the four sections, more than time than the others. I
Hmm.
can control the test and also the synonyms that they are using. I think it was an obstacle to me.
Hmm.
Yes.
What sort of difficulty do you face with the last reading?
Uh,
Because you mentioned the word obstacle.
yes, I think it was talking about a scientist coming from America looking for a rare type of tree in Africa. So they used many synonyms, I think, related with geography and the type of the life in Africa, and that was something caused headache to me in the last reading test.
Okay.
I think if I try to read many reading paragraphs or reading X examples in the Ielts test, I can I can overcome that obstacle in the future. I can do that.
You can?
Yes, inshallah.
Okay, perfect. Now, what we're going to do is simply, I mean, of course, that you've had a couple of exams before, and I think you're pretty familiar with the atmosphere in the test and the kind of pressure that 1 hour is not enough for answering the 40 questions that are assigned to you to answer. But before we do that, I want you to open Skype chat and look at this image that I sent you here.
Yes, I opened.
Did you open it?
Yes.
No, I want you to look at 6.5.
Yes.
Now,
which is 26 to 29.
Now, if you answer 26 out of 40, you're going to get 6.5. If you answer 29 out of 29 out of 40, you're going to get 6.9. But look at the difference. If you want to get 7, you need to move from 29 to 30. So there's only 1 point difference between 6.5 and 7. So if you think that getting higher score in reading or listening or writing is challenging, just think of this, that the difference between 6.5 and 7 is only 1 point difference. 1 point out of the 40 points. Look at 7.5. It has a range or a scope between 32 and 34. But if you want to get 8, there is 34 to 35. So there's only 1 point that takes you from 7.5 to 8. So it's not a big difference, you know.
0.5 in a score. Just 1 point affect the result by 0.5.
Yes. So if we are shooting for 8.5, you just need to answer 37 out of 40. If we are shooting for 8, in listening or in reading. In listening or in reading, you just need to get 35 minimum. And you have the flexibility of making 5 wrong options or wrong choices. So this
in the last trial, Walid, in the last trial or in the sample of reading test that you shared with me before, what was my score?
I think I sent you the score for the last one. Did I?
Yes, I think you did.
It carries no, I'm pretty sure that I sent it to you. I don't know if it's here or in WhatsApp messages, but
Okay,
I think it was 6.5 or something like that. Now this shall be comforting to you, since a lot of people actually think that getting 8 is really challenging, but getting 8 is only 1 point difference from getting 7.5. And 7.5 to 7 is only 1 point out of 40 questions. Now, moving on. There are a few tricks and strategies, and I think you are familiar with the majority of them, but just keep in mind that we need to have some speed reading skills. And for speed reading, we mean that you just need to train your eyes using your finger to mark your reading through the text, or you can just train only your eyes, because your eyes move faster than your finger over the text. But the faster your eyes go over the text, to hover over the text, the less comprehension you have. The slower your eyes go over the sentences, the higher comprehension you have. So there is this kind of equation. The faster you go, the less comprehension you have. And this is pretty much similar to the way we look through the car window if we are not driving, to the side of the car window when the car is going on a speed of 60 miles, for example, or 50 miles. You see the scene, but the closer you look, you don't see, because the frames that come in your mind are faster than your mind's comprehension of what's going on. So the idea is that the idea is that there is this sense of appropriate speed that gives us sufficient amount of comprehension. Sounds good?
Yes, sounds
Now,
really good.
what we need to do is we are not, I mean, when test designers create this sort of test, they add intentionally challenging words that do not have that quite big meaning, but they just slow you down because they want to see if you're a good reader or just a regular reader. So instead of saying, for example, remember, they use the word reminisce. Reminisce is the word that is synonym to remember.
Yes.
So the idea is that they just try to slow you down, and these should not be an obstacle to you since you're familiar with them. Sometimes I recommend you write down, for reading section, writing down a wrong answer and prove to yourself that this answer is wrong by going through reading.
Okay.
What's good about Ielts is that when they ask you question number one in reading, you're not expected to find the answer in the bottom of the essay. Usually the answer to that question is in the beginning. So question 1 to question 13, question 1 to question 11, question 1 to question 10. Usually the answer goes from the beginning to the middle of the essay. And the more you go to the bottom of the essay, the more the question answers are in the bottom. So it's kind of like they go in parallel, the answer. Some of the questions are very simple. You just need to spell out correctly the word in the blank. So that means that questions follow a sequence. The major and the most important trick is to search for synonyms. Yes. Synonyms are the bread and butter of overcoming the difficulty with Ielts. And before you do that, you just need to go through the theme of the paragraph and the theme of the essay that is given to you. And that's just going to trigger some background information regarding that. Sometimes they give you a blank in reading. Well, most of the time they give you blanks. So you just need to ask yourself, is this word an adjective? Is this word a noun? Is this word an adverb? Is this word a verb? And looking at what comes after the blank and before the blank, you can get a very good idea about the kind of word and its location in the essay. For example, if they ask you a question and it has N, A-N, and then a space, that means the word is a noun and the word begins with one of the vowel sounds. Just because it has an N, like in apple.
But my question, Walid, here, is the time is enough to me to looking for the synonyms, looking for the keyword, looking for the adjective?
No, it's not about that. The time that is chosen is to determine the professional readers who read 400 words and more per minute from the standard readers who read 300 words per minute with 75 comprehension percentage. From the bad readers who read around 50 words per minute to 100 words per minute with less than 50% comprehension.
So I think I need more examples about that to read it and to evaluate myself as a good reader or not.
Don't worry about that. That's what we are going to practice. But the idea is that the average reader reads 300 words per minute with comprehension of 75%. But what we mean by that 75%, that they can answer 75% of the questions of the 300. So the faster you go, the less comprehension you have. just because your eyes are not going to process enough unless you are very genius.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are people who read 2 pages at the same time, one in their left eye and one in their right eye. But this is very rare case, very rare case.
Yes, yes.
And this is not our, it's not our field. We're just normal people.
Mhm.
Now, what I want to show you is simply, is this link. Are you using your phone or?
No, I'm using my laptop.
Perfect. That is going to make my life easier.
Mhm.
Now, I want you to. Did you click on it?
Yes, which is accelerator speed reading tool.
Yes.
Okay. I opened it.
No.
There's
I will
something
send you.
talking about hello and welcome. Okay. Or I
Perfect.
have to press begin.
No.
Okay.
I want you to copy this text here. This is the text.
Mhm.
And put it in that whatever, that kind of box here. Replace it.
Copy the text starting from to get started till
No.
Okay.
I sent you a text on Skype. Just copy the text and put it in the box of the website.
Where is the text? I couldn't find it.
In Skype chat.
Yes,
In our
in
Skype
Skype.
chat.
I couldn't find it. Could you send it again?
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Starting from during, ending with migration.
Yes.
Okay, I will copy it and put it instead of to get started till menu, right?
No, it's the text is during successive waves to migration. Do you see it?
Yes.
Just copy that and put it in the website box here, and then click begin.
Okay, I put it and begin.
Now, do you see where read? It's a green button.
It's just one word, during.
Yes, under during, there's the word read. Do you see it?
Yes, I see it.
Next to it, there's the word setting. Click on setting.
Setting. Okay.
Change
per minute. Mm.
Change it to 200. We're going to slow that down a little bit.
Okay.
And then click save and go back to the text and then click read. I want you to read the words that will come up. But when you're reading, I will ask you to summarize what you read quickly to me.
Mm-hmm.
Deal?
Yes, deal.
Perfect. Go.
Mm-hmm. The world has experienced a new era.
You don't have to read.
Okay. I have to read or not?
No, you don't have. I'm sorry, you don't have to speak. Just do it again. Do it again.
Oh, not loudly.
No. I just want you to focus and then comprehend what is going on and then just summarize it to me quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I finished.
You finished?
Yes, I finished.
Okay, tell me what you read.
Migration. In general?
Yes.
I think I read 80% of the words that face in front of my eyes.
And what did you understand from this reading?
It was talking about the migration.
Mm-hmm. What else?
I was talking about the migration way or migration procedures, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Now, what we're going to do
Mhm.
in our practice
Mhm.
is incrementally increase the speed. So I give you passages to practice speed reading. What I
Mhm.
want you to do is this is the link to the test. Anytime you can find tonight or tomorrow to take the test, just take it.
Mhm.
Send me the score.
Mhm.
What we are going to do, we are going to, for a couple of weeks, practice speed reading to boost up
I
your
like
speed
that.
level
I
with
like that.
higher level of comprehension.
Mhm.
So when you start reading the IELTS questions from the passages, you're going to, your eyes are going to move faster over
Mm.
the text to get more information about the location of the question and the answer.
Mhm.
In the meantime, we also are going to focus a little bit on synonyms
Mhm.
and see the common pattern synonyms that occur in IELTS because they keep repeating some of them.
Mhm.
That is going to give us a better value of training in case we are going to take the test again sometime soon.
Okay. Okay. When I have to send you my test result.
Well, you have between now and Thursday, whenever you have free
Very
time,
good.
please
Very good.
just
Okay.
have a setting for, because the
Okay.
test is for around 40 to 1 minute long.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you just need to dedicate some time and
Mhm.
do that. But while you're taking the test, probably just mark any kind of notes that you're feeling
Okay.
struggling with, so we can discuss them in our next
Yeah,
upcoming meeting.
sounds to be good for me. Sounds to be good. Very good.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Samo, for this lovely
Thank
meeting,
you, Walid.
and
Thank you,
you're
Walid,
more
for
than welcome,
thank
Habibi.
thank you. Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. What are you working on?
Uh, Probably we have a contract with Midland Refineries and we are working on it.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
It's a supply contract, so we can supply catalyst for hydro treating the naphtha, which is the product of the distillation tower.
Uh-huh.
So it will add hydrogen to the molecules. By heat, you can choose either between kerosene or gas oil.
Okay. And
So
um, I was thinking the other day about asking you this question. It's kind of relevant to your work. How do you manage two completely different skills in pharmacy, in pharmaceutical business and medicine, and in oil? How do you manage these two completely different set of jobs?
it's time management. So when I be or let's say how to say when I go to work
Hmm.
in the morning, I disconnect from the pharmaceutical company.
Uh-huh.
So I focus on my business, I focus on my duties, my tasks, do them. Then I have to work at the pharmaceutical company around 3 or 4 p.m.
Which one do you find more challenging? The oil work
No,
or
the
the pharmacy?
pharmaceutical.
Why
Since
is it challenging?
because since you are working with the government, so it will be a routine job, not a challenging job.
And how do you do with routine jobs? What kind of strategies and techniques do you use to take advantage of the routine job and the boredom
I
that
just
comes as an
I
offshoot of that?
I just do my job or my tasks and settle. I can't do anything. Since I told you, since you're working with the government, you have no chance to innovate or do an extra tasks.
Mhm. I was
You're limited.
mhm. I was watching a video about Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple company,
Hmm.
and it seems that he wakes up at 3:30 a.m. and this is
Wow.
very early time. But since he has this huge amount of duties and activities to do, emails to respond back to, some government officials to sort out meetings with, and all of that comes with the expense of losing the sense of time on a daily basis. So this leads me to ask you a question before we start our topic of discussion for today. What sort of training did you get to learn how to do time management and be on timely manner? I would love to ask you to elaborate a little bit more on that, by the way.
It was I got this training in the pharmaceutical company. It was an Egyptian company in 2011, as I remember. Yeah, it was 2011. The trainer was Egyptian salesman. He was the country manager of Iraq, and he gave me this training. Time management depends probably on planning.
Okay.
So
how did you find this training? What was the unique thing about this training? And he was not a foreigner. He was an American. He was an Egyptian, and probably you shared with him the same kind of language. So how did you find useful in this sort of training, and why you think that kind of training stuck in your memory?
It stuck in my memory for two things. First, it's a skill training, not knowledge training. So you have to be trained and or used to do the tasks, so you can manage your time. The second one, I tried my best in the first year. Yeah, it took around 1 to 2 years just to get used to time management. So when I wake up, I think with myself, I have ABC.
Ahmed, my question is how did you find that training to be useful? What was special about it that just made you respond effectively and learn something and take something out of it in your life?
I think because I need the time management, so I got this training. So I used to manage the time. I think that was the cause of being.
Okay, so it came out of necessity. So if you need something, you try to find any solutions to overcome the obstacles or the challenges that you have at your work. And did this time management get troubled post COVID-19, or it just gave you more motivation to carry on and do more work?
It's a lifestyle now. It's a lifestyle. So I told you, when I wake up, I just think what tasks or let's say it's tasks. It's only tasks. What task do I have? Then I start to plan the time. So let's say our meeting today, it was at 12. So I've done all my tasks in the early morning since 9 to 11:30.
What sort of freedom do you find in our training? These are general questions that will last few minutes before we move on. But I like to hear
freedom in our training is the time.
So probably that's the only flexibility that you get.
We have flexible time is flexible between us.
And I think that what makes people actually love getting trained, when they have high motivation and when they feel down. That I'm not sure. Well, I don't hear you use this expression, to feel down, but when it's informal. But when they feel down, we can just shift back and forth the training and get used to it. Ahmed, moving on to our discussion today, we have two very simple tasks that we are going to talk about. And when we talk about them, we will discover new interesting thing about Ielts. But before we do this, I I want to show you something interesting, because I don't think that I've shared this with you before in terms of the score. I think I sent you the score yesterday that you got.
Yeah, you sent it. Thank you.
Um,
And I've gone through your comments. I'll do my best
Okay, now
just to get.
mhm.
It's only 2 questions to get to the 6.5.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Now let's talk a little bit about it, because I want to. I'm sending you this image in case you can open it. Are you using your phone or your laptop?
I'm using my phone and my laptop near me, so
Okay, so
I
you
can use
can
both.
access it in any one of the platforms that you're using. It's quite simple, but probably understanding the concept behind the 40 questions is going to give you very high motivation to do better in reading, which has 40 questions, and in speaking, and in writing, and in listening. So look here, after we've done enough and sufficient amount of listening, I'm trying to give you more, incorporate more activities for reading. But before we do this, we need to understand the mechanism of assessment of reading. If you look at 35 to 36,
It's 8.
8, but 34 is 7.5. So the difference between 34 and 35 is 1 point. The difference
One
between
question.
one question from the 40 will take you from 7.5 to 8. One question from the 40 will take you from 8 to 8.5. And you don't need to answer 40 to get 9. You can answer 39. For 6.5, you can answer 26 to 29 to get 6.5. But if you want to get 7, there's 1 point difference between 6.5 and 7. A lot of people actually.
I'm not saying that the range is narrowing.
It's
for the
very
highest
narrow.
scores.
It's very
No,
narrow.
for the highest scores, as you said before, 23 to 25, it was 6. 26 to 29, so you have 3 questions.
Narrower.
Since you need 7 or more, you have the difference is one question.
Now, whether that's a good sign or a bad sign regarding our performance, but I truly think, Ahmed, that one question may be sometimes a mistake in spelling that may drop you down from 8.5 to 7 or from 8.5 to 6.5. So it's comforting to say, and it's very comfortable to say, that the test design is not as challenging as it seems to a lot of people. Just because they haven't taken the test does not mean that the test is impossible. And what made me think about that is our discussion yesterday. You mentioned that I'll try my best. I am not sure if I can do it. So I put that on question here. Why do you think that maybe reading is far more challenging than listening? Maybe it is challenging to you.
I meant yesterday in our discussion, I meant that I thought that you're asking me to do the task before our meeting. So I said, I answered, the answer was I'll do my best since I have no time yesterday. I have had no time.
Okay, because what I was thinking
So
about.
that's why.
Okay, now, good. That's the thing that I wanted to clear out. I was concerned that maybe you have some challenges with reading more than with listening. But since we are within the range of 30, 31, 32 correct answers out of 40 over the curve of our previous listening activities, I wanted to shift to reading to discuss it a little bit, because this is very interesting topic, and it's all built on a few tricks and strategies that you need to keep in mind if you want to get higher score. And one of them is fast reading. Do you know anything about fast reading? Have you practiced fast reading before?
I've tried it once. I think it was a task from you.
Mhm.
It means that you just go through the text.
Mhm.
You focus on let's say highlighted and invisibly highlighted words.
What else?
You can just the fast reading for me. It means the
What's the
get a brief
benefit?
of the paragraph.
I think we need to understand the benefit of fast reading, because this is something that we need to clear out, because um, because fast reading has very higher relevance to reading. First, because you're limited to limited time to answer the questions, the 40 questions. And also, you are going to spend a lot of time on certain vocabulary. And
Yeah.
this comes with the expense of wasting time on things that might not be necessary to be focused on. Like, if, for example, distractors or المشتتات that we talked about, that they choose
Yeah.
intentionally difficult words to pronounce or to spell, because that is going to slow down the novice readers or the beginners who haven't had enough time to practice fast
Fast
reading.
reading.
We do not need to master fast reading, but fast reading is going to enable us to do few major things. First, to have a very quick background about the topic that we are going to practice on. Second, it will enable us to find where the synonyms are. When it comes to Ielts, I can assure you that this reading test is all about synonyms أو المرادفات. And it's all about synonyms because they rely heavily on synonyms to check the good readers from the normal readers, in terms of their practice, and be able to read words per minute. Now, maybe I'm taking a little bit long to do this, but I want you to clearly understand that developing some good techniques with fast reading is going to enable us to overcome the major difficulties that we have here. For example, they ask you a question. Now, this comes with an interesting notice that every question that they ask you, like, for example, question 1, mostly you will find the answer in the first paragraph. So that is very good chance that you can focus more on the first paragraph. They're not going to ask you question number 1 and you have to go through all the reading to the end to find the answer. Most of the answers for question 1 to 13, you have 40 questions. Most of the questions from 1 to 13 can be found in the first paragraphs. Understanding the shape of the paragraph and asking ourselves, what do they want, is going to help us so much with overcoming the difficulty that comes as a side effect of not having enough reading. So what I thought, I have a few suggestions here that we can do in order to practice the number of passages that we will have here in order to be able to understand how fast reading is done. Okay, now I will send you a link And
On Skype or the link or our link?
No. I will send you a link here, and in this link we are going to practice fast reading. After we practiced fast reading, we are going to give you a chance to help your mind process what fast reading is easier. And in this way, we're going to be able to go to the reading and have a look at it and discuss the exam link that I sent you. And if we have enough time, we are going to discuss the listening interview, the speaking interview questions that I sent you on Google document, and also discuss with you your feedback that you haven't highlighted. so so I will send you the link now, and it's going to take you a second to get familiar with it. This is a link. These are very common links available on online, but this one is very simple, and I always try to find simple, easy, and straightforward ones. Now, when the website is open on your laptop, I just want you to tell me that the link has opened.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay.
Now, do you see a green button that says spread?
Spread. Yeah.
Click on it.
Okay.
When you click on it, you'll see a word that says speed. Do you see it?
Speed. Yeah.
Under the word speed, there is setting. Do you see setting?
Yeah.
I want you to change, click on setting and change words per minute to 200. We are going to slow down the speeder.
Okay.
Just click
Okay.
on 200 and then click save from the
Save.
green
Okay.
button down. Now, are you ready?
Yeah.
Under speed, there is a play button, a triangle. Yeah. Click on it and read the passage. What we are going to do, we are going to read.
Let me restart it. I just clicked it and I need to restart. Okay. Okay. Speed.
Okay. Just click on the play button under the word speed.
Mm-hmm. Then?
And now, did you click on it?
No, because once I click it,
okay,
it start changing words.
Okay. Now, I will ask you to do one simple task.
Okay.
Read the words carefully, and by the end, I will ask you to tell me the summary of what you read.
Okay. I will start now. Okay. Okay. Do I need to read in a voice or with myself?
No. Just with yourself. Imagine you are in a test. This is just to help your mind get processing speed faster before we move to the reading passage.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Now, I want you to give me a summary of what you understood. There is no chance that you will give me 100% accuracy. Maybe it can be 50, it can be 60, it can be 70, it can be 30, it can be 20%. And whatever the percentage is, I just want you to give me a summary of what you read.
Okay. It was an introduction about the speed reading. Or somewhere they introduced their app or their application about the speeder trainer. I got a note about the inner voice of myself should be trained more just to read much more words per minute. You can change the settings. You should start at around 200 or below words per minute, and you can by regular training you can achieve the 10K words per minute.
Okay. And what's the average? What's the average there?
The average is 300 to I think it was 300. Yeah.
300 words.
Yeah, words per minute.
Okay, perfect. Now, what we are going to do, I will give you another one. So I want you to be a little.
I'll just want to add something. It was one method of training is reading a book using my finger, so my eyes can be trained to the reading text, to the reading paragraph or text.
Okay.
I can just move my finger in different speeds, so I can.
And that is going to help you with taking the test on your laptop or taking the test on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Now, I will send you another one, but I want you to be a little bit patient here. What we're just going to gradually building your speed skills, speed reading skills, 1 point more. If I accomplish 1 point difference, I would have accomplished the purpose and objective and the target of our meeting of today.
Okay.
Now, there is 100% more significance of the second link than the first one. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is the second one. I just want you to click on it.
Okay. Begin.
No, you don't begin. Now, what I want you to do is to delete the text that you see in the screen. Did you delete it?
Yeah.
I want you to replace it with this text.
Paste. Okay.
Now, change the setting to 200 because the 300 is the normal speed, but we're not.
I can't find the settings, so I think I need to click begin, then I can change the second.
Okay. Click begin, and then it will show you read setting and new text. Setting.
How much?
Just 200. 200.
200?
Save and close.
Okay.
Now, click read to finish the reading. It will take us more than 1 minute, but that's okay.
Okay.
Pause.
Okay.
Tell me what you understood so far.
It was talking about the irrigation or dams in Australia. They melted the higher mountains, the snowy mountains, but the result was not good for them. The melted snow or the melted water moved to the rivers, so they can be able to irrigate the dry areas.
This is a passage from Ielts. Now, this is the same passage that I sent you in the test. Now, I want you to continue reading.
Just 1 second.
Don't restart it, but continue. We're just after the general idea.
Okay, read.
Yes. Stop.
Okay.
Now, tell me a summary, even 20, 30, 40% of what you understood from the second attempt, the second part.
Australia was a up-growing country. They needed people just to work on the tunnels we discussed about previously. So they let's say how to say that they requested immigrants from Yugoslavia, Italy, and France. They were speaking different languages. Australians started the English courses for those people. Those three countries, they were fighting in the World War II, and the young people who left these countries found themselves in a new country, upgrown country with limited. With many limitations, like it was, let's say, the ancient habits. It was like that. Sometimes I noticed something. It was about putting a finger on the mouth means water, but it was not clear if it's needed for work or for drink.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Do you think that has something to do with their language because they did not speak English, or because of something else?
Sorry?
Do you think that is because they did not speak English? They put their hands on their mouths to express their need to drink water, or for another purpose?
I think for not speaking English.
Okay, perfect. Now, I want you just to finish the last part.
Okay.
Just click read and then
it's finished.
Perfect. Summary, please.
Summary about the last two paragraphs. It was talking about the people who worked for the electric station or electric dam. They were happy. Some of them were just accumulating their money or income for either for living or for settling in Australia or for moving back to their countries. Not only the men worked on these jobs were happy. The women also were happy, since they've been mothers or married because of this work. The power plant was the first power plant. The electric plant was the first electric plant who was financed from its income or the sale of the electricity there. Can't remember.
Okay, perfect. Now, do you find yourself reading in this speed limit, or faster or slower when you are given the whole paragraph?
Little bit slower, I think.
Okay. Now, that's good. It's a gradual skill process development, and we are shooting for 200. The average native speaker reads around 300 words, but in our case, we are 200. So we are only 100 points different between native speakers and non-native speakers. And we are not, I mean, we haven't had enough chance to read as many books as native speakers, honestly. And also, once you cross and graduate the threshold of school, the reading habit is going probably to drop down. A lot of people actually get engaged in work and duties, family commitments, and they just their performance in reading drops down. However, this is just one trick we can do, work on over the course of time, not to help you grasp the general idea, but to be able to search for particular words and to go through the passages faster. And it is highly recommended that you choose every chunk of questions given to you and focus on them and go to passage. So generally, go through the passage quickly to get an idea, because your mind needs to have some background information about the topic. After that, go to the questions. So talking about this test, particularly this link that I sent you, there are a few things that I am going to read to you that I've noticed and you need to focus on. Number one, I don't know if this is okay or not with you. You can choose the wrong answer until you prove to yourself that this is wrong answer from your reading for each one of the questions. Maybe.
Okay.
So just for sake of time, just choose wrong answer, put it in the answer sheet, not the final one, of course, and go and search if this information that you added is true or not. Two, don't feel overwhelmed with numbers, because the general idea is to find something easy, and it's all about word search and synonyms.
Okay.
The key success comes from your understanding of how to use synonyms in context. And I will give you some training on that later on.
Okay.
Questions follow sequence, as I told you. They follow sequence because, by the way, I've written this while I was checking the test. Questions follow sequence. So question number 1 is not answered by reading the last paragraph. It can be found in the first 1 or 2 paragraphs. Again, remember synonyms. Have an idea about the paragraph theme, because sometimes they ask you about the theme of the paragraph. For example, in this part, what they asked you is that they divided the section 1 and they ask you what is the theme of section 1, and you can choose. But understanding the general idea is going to easily get you to your point. Last but not least, and this is something interesting, when you are filling the blanks, there's always one word before the blank and one word after the blank.
Okay.
So you need to understand whether the word is a noun or a verb from understanding the word before it. So for example, a doctor. So when you say a doctor, maybe
It's a noun.
yeah, a smart. So we are looking for an adjective here. If the blank has in, like in apple, in apple, so the word that we are looking for should start with a vowel sound, not a consonant sound. Are we good so far?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Finally, we move to the link where we take the test to have a look at it here clearly. Now, click on this link, please.
Just 1 second. You're it was the one sent. Oh, okay.
Just click on this one. We're gradually building up to the point we start reading and understanding the methods and tricks and strategies of accomplishing at least 1 point better performance. 1 point better. If we accomplish 1 point better, we have accomplished the target of our meeting tonight or today, this afternoon.
Just loading. So let me copy it to the Chrome. It's better. By the way, I highlighted the writing essay in red, so you can find it on my link.
I'll just check it out. I'll just check it out later when we're done.
Okay, just it's loading. So I think I have bad internet connection.
That's fine. That's fine. We can wait. I miss your coffee, by the way.
You're welcome anytime. Okay.
Now, tell me what you see, because I'm not reading.
I can see the reading passage on the left. And
what's the title? What's the title? We're not going to answer the questions.
Okay, the dams that changed Australia.
Okay, section 1 is an introduction. Section 2, section 3. All of what you're seeing, you just saw in the speed reading test. Now, move to the right where you see questions 1 to 5. List of headings. Do you see it? So what you need to do is simply, let me explain this to you in a better way, because it's sometimes overwhelming. For 1, to answer question number 1, you need to choose a theme from the list of options above for section 1. So read the themes.
What do you mean by themes? Just the sections?
Headings. The headings.
Okay. Using the sign language on the snow mountains, the workers and their families. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Finland, Australia, the coast of the snow mountain skiing, the unique nature of the skiing house in the snow. Where the snow mountain skiing began, learning the new ways to communicate, reflecting people. Social problems.
So as an essay, it's not okay to start with very specific topic without giving an introduction to the general theme or general idea. So which one of these do you think, before we read the first section, which one of them do you think is the best ideal example for an introduction to the essay?
I think it's development of inland Australia.
I think so, but we will see later on when you give me, where you take the test. So move to question 6 to 10.
Question 6 to 10.
No.
Just
You
one
see here?
second. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Complete the table. Choose one word or number from reading passage 1 for each answer.
Okay, see, for 840, Tarikh 840,
Yeah.
they say the could. So we are expecting a noun here. So just keep in mind, you go to the passage for the 840 time, you search quickly for the first paragraph and second paragraph to find it, and you find a name, a noun that fits this context. Moving on. Question.
I should answer that, all right?
No. I'm just, you're going to answer this test later on when you give me a full 40 questions response.
Okay.
Moving on, choose no more than 3 words. I'm pretty sure you are going to answer question 11 without even reading the passage, just by understanding that. So communicating using was necessary. Communicating using what and was. هم ما كانوا يحجون يعني انجليزي، فكانوا يستخدمون هذا الايدهم على الماوث. هذا شو نسميها اللغة؟
I don't know.
يعني الشخص يعني اللي ما يحكي اللغة مالت اللغة اللي تطلع بالتلفاز شو نسميها؟
The symbols language.
لا. sign language.
Sign language.
هنا communicating using sign language was necessary for laborers because of their conditions. Maybe, I'm saying maybe. I'm not giving you the final answer. Maybe. The workers reminiscent. هذه reminisced يعني remembered. استذكروا. فإذا قال لك reminisced ما راح يقول لك إياها بالpassage. راح يستخدم لك remembered, thought about, wondered. فأنت keep in mind هنا إذا رايح تدور على كلمة reminisced ما راح تلقيها.
Reminisced.
Okay. الأخيرة, the snowy mountain scheme was considered in. لاحظ هذا in، فإحنا نتوقع الفعل الاسم اللي راح يجي مبدوء بشنو؟
The 5 letters A E.
فهنا الاوبشن راح يكون سهل جدا، لانه مو من عندنا راح نكتبه من الباسج، ومجرد هو يعني سرعتك على ايجاد الكلمه.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, what I want you to do next is probably this is a technique that I highly recommend to readers to improve their skills. I want you to, before you take the test and give the answers, this is just a model, change the setting to 250 and then do the test again and again and again, reading the whole 250. It's not going to take more than 5 minutes of your time. And then change it to 260, 270 until you get to 300. And then when you finish that, just go and take the test and send me the score. I'm pretty sure there is going to be so much good progress accomplished by this technique.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, on this point, I need to stop talking about the reading and ask you to give me any kind of summary about anything that you learned from our discussion today about reading and how to accomplish reading.
I learned about the fast reading, how to answer the reading questions, the following of the questions to the sections of the paragraph, and the link you sent, well, I think it's very useful for me
Okay, perfect.
to get trained on the fast reading.
And I wrote the techniques here. I'm sending you that just in case. Give me 1 second. Just to have a look at them, keep them in mind. But the most thing that I'm excited about is that maybe if we, I mean, there's higher percentage of chance that if you master this technique, your skills to go through reading, not only for IELTS, but in general, is going to be extremely better.
Okay.
So these are, I'm sorry for my terrible handwriting, but I'm sending you the comments here. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, so I'll be waiting for your response to this reading anytime today, tomorrow, the day after. And in the meantime, I'll just go through the highlighted text and give you feedback on it and give you a score for writing. Independent essay task too. Any questions?
Now, no question. So all I have to do is just give you feedback about the reading link.
I
Or
don't
the
want you to
trainer.
give me. I don't want you to give me feedback. I want you to give me your answers.
Oh, your answers for the test you sent. Okay.
We have been practicing how to take reading tests efficiently faster, and I want to see the result and your response. Based on your response, on this test,
You can
we
monitor
can
my
develop,
progress.
change, and determine and modify any kind of techniques that we have in order to get a higher score. But the most important part, I want you to understand that carefully giving your answer can be enough reason to take you from 7.5 to 8. One single spelling mistake can you take you from 8 to 6.5.
To 7. Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Okay, I'll do it.
I hope you enjoy your day and looking forward to see you this week.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Same for you.
Welcome.
It's
See you.
okay. Inshallah. Thank you. Bye.